Today on Just South of Awesome, we will be exploring a darker side of Dorky, and even worse lighting than usual. Dude, no. So, as you guys might have noticed, we're about to cover a darker topic than we usually would. And that is the origin of our favorite, fairy tales. And you might be surprised at how dark they really are. Stop. But, you know, it's fun to look back at what our childhood gave us and let it scar us for life. Alright, so first we're going to start off with everyone's childhood favorite, Sleeping Beauty. Although this story was originally known as Sun, Moon, and Thalia. So, it starts off basically the same way. So there's this evil fairy named Maleficent. Basically, she gets really mad because the royal family doesn't invite her to their daughter's birthing party. Not even her birthday party, her birthing party. Maleficent comes over, she crashes this party, and she's like, "Excuse me, why did you not invite me?" And they're like, "Because you're evil." So she curses the little princess to stick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel at age 15. Instead of dying, she only is supposed to fall asleep. But here's where it gets kinda twisted and dodgy. A prince comes, he's the only one who can save her. But instead of just kissing her, like in the original story, or like in the story we're used to, in the original story, he comes into her room and finds passion with this comatose 15-year-old. Look at that, sleeping beauty. Who then becomes pregnant, and she doesn't wake up until one of the twins that she gave birth to. She slept through giving birth to twins. 2 babies coming forth into the world. She doesn't wake up till one of them sucks on her finger and gets the little tiny piece of flax that got stuck in her out and breaks the curse, and she wakes up. Now that doesn't sound that bad, but it's still kind of weird because she gets raped while she's asleep. Family friendly, we try. Now we're going to move on to Little Red Riding Hood. Now, you might think this is just a story about a little girl tra-la-la, skipping through the woods with a basket of goodies for her grandmother. That's only part of the story. There is a wolf who really wants those goodies. The goodies being Little Red Riding Hood to eat. Nom nom. Wolf goes, "Arr, let me eat this child." And she's like, "No." So he somehow knows how to get to her grandmother's house faster than she does because this wolf is a creepy-ass stalker. Instead of just eating her grandmother or tying her up and wearing her clothes, he cuts the grandmother open, slips the skin off of her body, and wears it like a suit. Red Riding Hood comes in, and he then holds her captive and reveals who he really is, and feeds her little pieces of her grandmother's skin suit before he eats her, which is pretty close to what happens in the story we know, but there's no huntsman to come save them. She's basically forced to cannibalize her own grandmother before she dies. That's pretty messed up. And people used to tell these to children. Alright, so the last one is also about children, and it's pretty messed up even in the modern telling. It's Hansel and Gretel. Now, in the modern telling, there's like the evil mom who's like, "I hate my kids." But in the original story, the kids were very greedy, and their parents were very poor. So they had to basically sacrifice their children to the forest so they could eat. So they led their kids out to the forest, and they couldn't find their way back. Hansel and Gretel do manage to find a house, but it's not their house. It's basically Satan's house. And his wife comes up, and she's all like, no, you need to leave. And they're like, "But we can't go anywhere." And she's like, "Fine, but you can't let my husband find you. You have to be really freaking silent, no noise." And they're like, "Okay." And then, you know, he finds them because he's Satan. He keeps tabs on all our souls up in here. He finds them and he keeps them prisoner for a while. And then he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna eat them for dinner." Because, you know, that's the logical explanation. That's a logical thing we're all gonna do. 2 little twins come wandering to my house. I'm just gonna eat them. But first, let me make them build me a giant table to tie them on and slit their throats so they'll bleed to death. And also so all the blood will drain out of their bodies so they'll be safe to eat. But I'm Satan, so why do I care? The demons gotta eat healthy, you know? They pretend like they can't get onto the bleeding table, like they don't know how to strap them, to sit on it, lay down on it. So he's like, "Devil wife," and she's like, "What, honey? Get on the table." Okay. Hansel basically incapacitates Satan and then kills his wife and steals all of Satan's money and goes back home to make his family rich forever. It has a happier ending than the other stories do, but the way to get to the happy ending is pretty messed up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, because I certainly enjoyed it. There will probably be more dark additions to our show, and I'm going to like it a lot. And cool!
The end.